good day, and welcome to Your Voice, Your Power. I am Anika Wilson, and I have a fantabulous guest today. I have Amy Lyman. Hey, Amy.
Hey, how are you?
I am fabulous. How are you?
I'm fabulous.
All right, y'all. Amy is coming to us from Utah. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
So I'm Amy Lyman. I'm an aromatic practitioner. I own an essential oil dispensary where we import oils from all over the world and ship them all over the place. And I also have a small wellness clinic where I treat people with aromatic medicine.
Now, y'all, she said the word dispensary, which makes you automatically think about weed, but this is kind of like,
It's oils.
I was going to say it's just as effective, if not more, because we're not even going to get on that topic, but you have evolved into doing this. So I want you to go a little bit backwards. Tell everybody like how you got started in this entrepreneurial world, because you didn't start off having a dispensary.
No, I didn't. I started off having a baby at 16 years old and just decided that I was not going to become what everyone thought I was going to become.
Yep.
My grandmother, the day I told her I was pregnant, she told me I was going to give my grandfather a heart attack. And I just made my mindset that I was not going to be what they all thought I was going to be. I was going to make something out of myself. And I did get married. It wasn't a great marriage, but we made it work. We actually have 4 kids out of that marriage. And when that ended, I just kept trying things. I have done cleaning businesses, bookkeeping, marketing, doula, delivering babies, water birth services, until I found aromatherapy, and it is my passion, and it's what I do every day. Our family uses it. My clients use it. It's just been a great adventure.
You're a perfect example of what I tell everybody is preparation. You know, we go through these stages in life. We go through these traumatic experiences. We go through these things that are supposed to break us. And in some cases they do. They break us down. They send us through changes. But I'm listening to you, and you are a well-rounded, evolved individual. Not to mention you are a mother, you are a wife, you are a woman that has been traveled, like you've lived in California and Utah and Seattle. I mean, you have dibbled and dabbled in different businesses in kind of different realms. And then you found your passion. And that's what I want everybody to understand. Like, no matter what happens to you and no matter how early it is, it doesn't matter, but you can use that, because everything that happened to you led you to do something that heals people, that helps people, that, you know, and you said that you made up your mind. I mean, that's mindset from early age, that I'm not going to be a statistic, that I'm not going to be a failure. And you also sound to be resilient, because you're like, hey, just because they said that I'm going to be a failure, that means I have to succeed. And I tell everybody, it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter if you're bullied. It doesn't matter what, but use the naysayers. Use them as a stepping stone. Step on their head and achieve your goals. And in a lot of instances, you did exactly that.
Yeah, I pretty much just gave myself no choice. It was either succeed or succeed. There was no in between. There was no not succeed. I was just going to make something of myself. I also didn't have a great childhood. When I told my grandmother I was pregnant, that's because I didn't really have my mom, because my mom has been a drug addict most of my life. I've had sexual abuse, bad marriage, breast cancer, and I just kept on. I'm going to keep on, and I'm going to make something of myself. And I feel like when I found aromatherapy, that was me. That is who I'm going to be. I'm going to help others, because I love helping others. I love healing. It's just my jam. And I loved doing the childbirth, but that didn't work out when you have all these kids that I have. So this has just been the perfect match. I honestly can say I feel like when I found aromatherapy, it was my perfect match for what I should be doing, my calling in life.
And you know what? It's, you know, those other things, like you said, you love being a doula. But, you know, I want people to understand that some things do serve their purpose for that season. but you may outgrow it. You know, your family dynamics may change. You may need flexibility. You know, a lot of us struggle with working, not working, running a business, not running a business. You know, you go back and forth from like supporting your husband's dream, supporting your dream, you know, having the kids at home, having the kids outside the home, empty nest syndrome. I mean, we go through phases, and I want to give everybody permission to grow and to outgrow and to shed. You know, a lot of times we carry on friendships that we've outgrown that no longer serve us. We carry relationships that no longer serve us. We work in jobs that no longer serve us. But it's okay to let things go. And so you found something that works for you now. Yeah. And you also are able to leave a legacy.
Yeah. Our whole family is part of our essential oil dispensary. Whether maybe my 16-year-old son has to do data entry for me sometimes,
wow,
or my husband has spent 15 hours working on our new house to come home and bottle oil because his wife tried it last week. I don't know if you can see that lovely blister I have. I said, clearly I'm not the bottler.
That's not for you. We're going to pass that buck.
Yeah. So it's like everybody, you know, and then we have Lily who's 5 and she's keeping everybody laughing and keeping everybody on their toes and on edge because she's doing who knows what. Well, we're bottling 150 bottles of oil at one time, you know. There's always something.
But it brings the family together too, whether they get it or not. Like I'm trying to get my 15-year-old to do my graphics. I'm trying to get her to, you know, she loves photography. So I take her around the island so she can take pictures of the water for backdrops and, you know, for banners for my websites and stuff. And, you know, she hems and haws. But I'm like, you know, you can do graphics and you can sell pictures to Pexels. I mean, there's things that you can do now. And if we can teach them that mindset now that, you know, you have an art, you have a skill, you have, you know, you can create a business at any age. You know, you got little girls doing lip gloss, you know, and you have some people who say, you know, that's too soon. It's not really a matter of success or failure. It's just a matter of like training their mindset. You know, to understand that you can pursue your dreams, you can pursue your passions, and you can turn your passion into a business, you know, instead of conforming to what the world says that you're supposed to do, that you're supposed to fit in this little box.
Yeah. I hate the box.
Who you
Obviously.
Who you
the box didn't work out for me.
I feel like I was always that jack in the box. Like, I feel like the world was just winding and it was just like, and I would pop my head and then they would push me back down in, and, you know, I never fit in. I never conformed well. I kept trying, but it just never really worked.
Yeah. It's hard when you don't fit in the box because actually, I mean, I want to word this perfectly. Not perfectly, but I want to word this properly. But a lot of people know that the culture in Utah is mostly LDS. And I am not. So it's very hard for me here sometimes. I don't fit the mold. So I'm pretty sure, like, a lot of times even when I go to the grocery store, they're like, oh, there's the lady that has a tattoo.
That lady.
Or, oh, there's the lady that's buying a 6-pack of beer. You know, it's very interesting.
There's that lady.
Yep. Yes, exactly.
Yep. And
I just never been the box, obviously.
And it's interesting because you're in a place that's, you know, got these stigmas. You know, everybody thinks that I'm in paradise, you know, and I'm like, being a Black person in Hawaii, the world knows I'm not a native. I didn't come from here, you know, and they assume we're military, even though we are, but they don't have a good perception of the military because the military overtook the island. So we're not friends. We're not, you know, we're not welcome really, you know.
You're the transplants, like what I am.
We're the invaders, you know.
Yes,
and a lot of people have perceptions of things, but I tell everybody, you got to have a lot of resilience. You got to have a different chamber of energy to use when you go out and you face these things. But in the same sense, you got to just go out there and be that person and let them see that you can't judge a book by its cover, because we think that we've come so far with that, but we really haven't. I mean, here you are talking about being a teen mom, and I think you're only like the third who's said it on my show, but I guarantee you there've been way more. But it's just those perceptions. I'm so sick of labels. I'm so sick of stigmas. I'm so sick of stereotypes. And, you know, rock your doggone tattoo. You know, go to the store, buy your 6-pack, do you. because if it wasn't for the unicorns, where would our world be?
Blah.
Because I'm a unicorn and I'm proud of it.
Yep, that I agree with you 100%.
If I could figure out how to make my hair match this shirt, I would, but I haven't figured it out quite yet. And whenever I do it, it turns orange. Now, let's get to your business. You educated me, and so now I want you to educate the world. When we hear about these essential oils, I know that at one point I saw something about an edible, about a tablet. Tell everybody like the versatility behind this thing, because this thing it goes deep. Tell me all that you can do.
So I had been working as an aromatherapist practitioner for a long time, actually, before I started the dispensary. The dispensary came when I moved to Utah. I got bombarded. As soon as they heard what I did, it was crazy. I actually had a couple women knock on my door to tell me about their oil business that they were doing, which was an MLM. And so I started going through some of this literature that they would leave, and I just thought, $85 for a bottle of frankincense, that isn't right. And so then I kind of, started looking some more into what was going on. And then I realized, oh, this is multi-level marketing. Oh, this is not fair to families like mine who has 8 kids. We can't afford, I'm sorry, to buy an $80 bottle of frankincense. So for many years in my practice, I used an Australian company of oils. And I thought, well, I read these labels and their lavender comes from France, their this comes from there. And so I started thinking, well, I should be able to get oils from all over. So I actually bought 3 or 4 oils from these MLM companies to research where they were getting their oils, okay? Mm-hmm. So one company actually distilled their own lavender, but everything else was imported from all over the place. So I just started figuring out what I needed to do the same thing and be able to offer families these essential oils at an affordable cost. And so the first place I tracked down was one of the very popular MLM companies where they were obtaining their frankincense. So I started importing from the same company, and mine is less than half the cost of the MLM. Oh, wow. So then I just really started getting into it. And now I think we hold about 40 different oils, and I formulate blends. So if someone says to me, hey, I use this blend for sleeping. If I send you the ingredients, can you see if you can, make something similar? Mm-hmm. And I do it. I do it all the time. And I just try to make it affordable for families. I just recently, like I had shared with you before, I don't know how I could get you to see all these, but I created 7 different blends. There, can you see
That's what I was going to ask you. Yeah, I was going to ask you if you have recommendations.
Yeah, so these ones are actually for each one of the chakras. So we have a base, a third eye, a crown, sacral, all those. It took me actually to come up with all 7 different energy fields, the oils to go with them. It took me about 3 months, probably 5 to 10 tries on each one to make sure that I got exactly what I felt like was going to be beneficial to everyone.
But so you actually have a degree in this thing, right? That I'm sitting here looking and I'm like, you have a degree in aromatherapy.
And yes, and it's just fabulous. And I do other blends too. Like I have one for, it's like an immune support. It works great as a hand sanitizer type of thing. It's called Essential Protection. We have one called Unwind. It's deep in a blue color, and it's really good for muscle aches and things like that. But it's very blue. I'll show you. I'm
loving this because, and I want to ask you too, do you have roll-ons?
Yes.
Because I use roll-ons every night. I put them on my kids every night. Yep. I put the lavender on them and I roll it here. I roll it here and I put it on them every night. So they come in, and that's my little tuck in kind of routine with them. And it's better than tucking them. Like they come and they're like, here, mom, and it's a thing that I do with them now. And I don't even know if they understand what I'm doing. They just know that I do it now. So they come.
And they'll love it. So my kids, Most kids, when they get a little owie or something, they start, oh, I need a Band-Aid. I need a Band-Aid. My kids yell for tea tree oil. Mom, where's the tea tree oil? I just cut my finger. But this is one of my favorite blends, and I just want to show you the deep blue color. Did you see that? And it has blue tansy in it, and it is amazing. And that was another one. It took me 3 or 4 months to get the exact formula, but I finally did that. So I know a lot of these companies out there say, oh, you can only get pure oils from us. And that's not true. There's different ways that if anyone would like to reach out, I can teach them to test for pure oils on their own, or, things like that. And we definitely don't have a certified oils, because we don't have a third party certification yet for oils. There are those companies that tell you, oh, only our oils are certified. They're certifying them in-house. They made the logo. They're stamping it on there, that kind of stuff. So you have to be careful. They're powerful medicine tools.
And I think that a lot of people don't understand that. They think that they're kind of just like, these little drops or whatever. But I mean, you can literally take these in ingestion form. You can ingest it. You can put them in your bath water. You can rub them on your body. And it's been around a lot longer than people understand. And I think that it's often overlooked. But for people with, you're a cancer survivor, I have chronic illness. And I think that if people really want the education, they definitely need to contact you, because a lot of these other places, they'll give you all these reading materials, but to have somebody you can ask the questions, you can get them to do the formulas, you can get them to create blends. I live by this stuff. I got mine going right now, y'all. I got orange right now, the mandarin orange. So I do that. I do lime sometimes. I know in the treatment center I used to work at in substance abuse, we use lemongrass for detox, and we would put it in their face, and it would help them, it would help with their detox symptoms. And it's something that I've kind of done for a long time, but never really acknowledged it. It just became kind of routine. But
this is part of your daily rituals. Yeah.
And my husband keeps looking at me because I got them all over the house, and he's like, seriously? But it's like, and I can hear it next to my bed when it shuts off. And so then I click it again if I'm not asleep, and it really, I choose to do it instead of medication, because, how easy is it to put eucalyptus in here instead of Vicks Vapor Rub? And my kids are like, ew, it stinks. And I'm like, it's just like Vicks Vapor Rub. It's eucalyptus. Shut up, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
That is
essential oils are just part of our daily living. Orange oil. So I just want to tell you, since you said that you're diffusing that is an amazing oil for like uplifting, encouraging abundance and that kind of stuff. So that is such a great one to be doing while you're doing your podcast, to be diffusing.
When I'm not doing, like, sometimes I do the lime if I need energized.
Yes.
I had it on the other day because I wasn't feeling good, and it helped. And the orange reminds me of Orange Clean, and it kind of just makes me kind of feel refreshed. So if I don't have the other ones, I normally keep some of the other ones right here, but my favorite is eucalyptus, lime. The one by my bed is called Chill Pill. It's like lavender, and I think it's mixed with rosemary. But I think people need to understand you have different moods. Like, you have different blends for different moods. And if, like, I wake up and I feel like I'm sick, I don't go get Tylenol cold and sinus. I put something in the infuser.
And that's really good. Yeah, that's super. And another thing people need to remember too is that it is a plant medicine. So you always want to make sure, like for your son, he's on the spectrum, right? That's what you were saying. Okay, you don't want to use a stimulating oil, diffusing it in your house like peppermint. You will send him going.
That's what I normally use. I couldn't remember, but that's the one I got the biggest bottle of, and I was using that daily.
That's not good. That will just sit. No, that peppermint is a stimulant. So it'll just. Yeah, you want to stick to like your lavender, your oranges would be really great for him. Okay. All citrus oils would be really great for him.
Okay.
And things like that. Also, if you have to take precautions, just like you would with a bottle of pills of some sort. If you have someone who is, for instance, epileptic, you don't dare want to have rosemary because that can trigger seizures. So you just have to really be careful with different oils. And it's always best to, talk to someone who's educated. And most aromatherapists out there, if you shoot them a message, they're going to answer you and try to help you the best they can. That's what I found anyways. I think our mindset is a lot of, we just love to help and heal.
Yeah. And I have emphysema. And so what would you say for lungs? Because COVID it attacks the lungs. So what would you say is really good to use during this time of the pandemic and the
Do you
Rona,
want a
as we
single
call it?
or a blend?
Both. Tell me some stuff.
Okay.
Some good stuff.
So
Okay,
if you're just in a panic and you just were feeling a little closed off, grab a bottle of peppermint oil and start doing inhalations. An inhalation is like, you take in as much air as you can, you hold it for a couple seconds, and you exhale.
Okay.
That's your go-to in a panic situation. But if you just want something to help control it, then you're going to want to do probably a eucalyptus laurel leaf is amazing for respiratory. And I would probably say you could add a little bit of peppermint in there.
Okay.
Yep. So what do we get? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say also, I noticed that when they're doing EMDR and things like that in trauma therapy, they use peppermint.
Yeah. Because it helps to stimulate the mind and get things moving. Or rosemary is another good one to stimulate the mind. You just have to be careful who you're using it on. I don't even recommend using rosemary a ton for like kids 5 and younger. It just is not one you go to for, toddler age. But if you remember, do you remember if you see pictures of Greek gods, they were always in study, right? But do you remember they had a braid of twigs a lot of time around? Okay, that's rosemary. And the reason they're using that is because rosemary helps stimulate the mind and stimulates the memory. And so they would use that so they could take in the essence of it and help them during their studies. So we're talking, it goes back long, 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 long time.
I just notated memory because memory disorders run in my family. And so that's interesting because, even with PTSD and things like that, that's what I was talking to you about before we started recording. Yeah. A lot of people that have anxiety disorder, panic disorder, PTSD, depression, this is perfect for that. For me, I started doing the lavender and things like that because I do have anxiety disorder. And it calms me. And I also got the roll-on. I think I have 3 roll-ons, and I even put it, on my wrist, when I'm getting ready to work or go to bed. I have ADHD. It helps focus. And so I'm glad that you're giving these tools because I would never think about the memory. I mean, that's something that a lot of people struggle with, whether it be short-term, long-term. And I'm hearing COVID also affects that too. You've got people who have beat it, but still have residual symptoms.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's what this weekend I actually have planned because everyone's getting ready to go back to school or even doing their own online schooling, whichever platform you've chosen for your kids. But I am making a huge batch of our protection, which is the one you can kind of use as a hand sanitizer or clearing out the room and things like that. And then I'm doing our back to school blend where we're going to do rosemary and lavender for our older kids. Rosemary, lavender, and it'll have just a hint of peppermint in there to help with memory and calmness and things like that. So basically there will only be just a little bit of peppermint in that one though, because you want to stimulate the mind a little bit, but you don't want it to overstimulated.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's really important to know how to formulate and things like that instead of just, dumping.
I am going to get some of this information from you so that people can contact you. So I'll make sure that I'll have your information in the description. And tell everybody the name of your business, how to reach you, and any last words you have for everyone.
Okay, so the name of our business is Harmony Aromatherapy for the essential oil side. The clinic is Harmony Wellness Center. They can reach me, Amy Lyman, on Facebook or amy.harmonywellness@gmail.com. And I'm always here to help. I'm always willing to give, a formula if you have your oils already. I just really enjoy serving others and helping at a healing point of view, naturally.
I love that. Well, thank you for being here,
You're
listeners,
so welcome.
viewers,
Thank you for having me. This is exciting, super exciting.
everybody. That's Amy Lyman coming to you guys from Utah, all about wellness. As usual, thanks for tuning in to Your Voice, Your Power. And remember, stay powerful.